All right, so we have the upcoming information for the Season 10 seasonals, which remember now on JP, they're mid-season where the pickups are the beginning of a season. So for Season 10, we're going to be getting a Clover Academy season. So starting to be kind of repetitive, but it's fine. This is the third one, and it is going to be Clover Academy, Noel, and Rill. All right, so those are the two units that we're going to be having for Season 10. Between these two, we have Zora and Destiny Vanessa, but we're gonna not talk about them until we get closer to their release, which hopefully we'll find out. I think it would be the second. No, it would be the 23rd. I think that's when we're gonna find out. Either the 23rd or the 1st of March is when we're gonna find out their full information or most of their information. So Noel and Rill, are they good picks? Let's talk about it now. As for Noel, I think that not the best pick because you really look at it, right? There's already three Noels, right? So that is something, and they do like making Noels busted, so it is a bit scary. They also like incorporating barriers. Now, is the barrier going to be big in this meta? We'll have to see. Barrier immunity is becoming a thing. We had it on William, and it does seem to be on one of these two units too. I don't remember which, if I'm going to be honest. So that's the first thing. Now, as for Rill, I don't think Rill is a bad pick at all, right? We only have one unit, and it's a debuffer, a green debuffer. So I think overall to me, pretty decent, right? Pretty decent. Now, what are they? What are they exactly? Now, Noel is a blue healer, and Rill is a red supporter. So as for a blue Noel, we already have a blue Noel, but they would be filling different roles, right? I personally am more of a thing where the color to me is not that important, right? We have two Williams now that are both blue, okay? The main thing is the role for them to do different things. Now, the thing is they built this William to be a supporter and not as much a defender. So for this, it sucked, right? For this, it sucked. Now, what really sucks is this. This is what really sucks. Two Mimosas that are healers, okay? That's the main thing. But for Noel to have a attacker, right? If we really go to it, an attacker, a debuffer, and now a healer, to me, not the biggest thing. And for Rill, being a supporter, I think is pretty good. I would honestly rather some good DPSs. I feel like we need some big, strong DPSs to really come in the meta, but it doesn't seem in the next month we're getting any DPSs unless Zora is a DPS, but I feel like he's a debuffer. He's either a debuffer or support because most of his skills are just like talking about supporting, so he's probably a support. Which is a bit odd, but whatever. So we do have some of their kits. I do want to kind of go over it, but as for a blue healer, do we really need a blue healer? Now, what does suck is that I have to look at it in the lens of mono teams, right? Because mono teams are the ones that really profit from the colors. So it's very possible that the unit isn't necessarily going to be restricted to like mono teams, but for the most part, right, they've been doing that and I hate it. What? Mimosa has a mono passive, William has a mono passive. Okay, I think Vanessa has a mono passive, but I could be wrong. Let me just check. No, I don't think no, wait, yeah, she does too. Vanessa also has a mono passive. So they're really going towards this mono meta that I personally am not a fan of. So we really have to look at this blue Noel and this red Rill in the lens of mono, right? So for red, obviously, the mono red team is very strong, so having Rill as a support might be good. He would have to replace either the Charmy or Yuno slot. So we're going to have to kind of see which one he would be better than, given the limited information, right? And kind of like making a bit of assumptions. And then for blue, we could definitely use a good healer, I think. The main thing is that William kind of cucked over blue, unless Zora is insanely good. Which my guess is Zora is blue, just to say. My guess is Zora is blue, so we have to kind of keep in mind that we can't fully judge Noel, at least what we know right now, because Zora might change things completely or not, right? So that's the two things. Because we've had this not really happen too many times with pickups, but it seems that since Fauna and Witch Queen, they have decided to make them have at least niche uses. So let's get into their base kits, right? Really not much, but as you can see here, just to kind of mention, Zora, here it says granting all allies a buff, and here it's granting designated ally a buff, but that's all we know. So starting with, where would it be? This is Rill. So we're going to start with Rill. So he is a supporter, right? And as for what he's doing as a supporter, so he has an all allies buff on the skill 2, which is pretty good. Now, why an all allies buff is good on the skill 2 is because, well, you could spam this if you choose the talent that reduces the skill 2. This could be pretty good. Now, what it gives is a reduced damage taken. And it being a percent chance is much better for the blue team because William exists, and him it's a fortified level where this is a X% reduced damage taken. So it's two different types of damage reductions that you could run on a team. Now, just this is kind of giving me the impression that he will be more of a like damage reduction support. But what's bad with that is when you really look at this, we already have two Williams that are doing that. We have Ghost. So we're going to need to see what else he's going to do. Now, he is going to be giving, just like granting a buff to an ally. To me, this is going to be more of an offensive type of supporting thing. So that's going to be something to see. But he also does give speed buff. His Grimoire skill is for the skill 1. Honestly, I hope it goes to the skill 2. Because the skill 2 is an AoE buff. So AoE buffs, I feel like, usually are better in most cases. It's just like a lot better. So we're going to have to see how that works out. But I think Rill overall, being red, he has damage reduction, which I guess is good. If you really look at it, there's no damage reduction units here for mono red. So this could end up being very good. Instead of playing Charmy, right? You could play much more defensively. Or you take out Yuno, but to take out Yuno, it would have to be... You would need a lot, right? You would need a lot to take out Yuno. So I'm not really too sure about taking Yuno out. So it's just very limited for the mono red team, which kind of sucks. You can't really move it around too much. But even for the mono green, because you want Charlotte and Mario Leona in this current meta at the moment. So Rill, could he have a spot just off the current information being a damage reduction skill 2, seemingly being an attack support ultimate, just like giving a buff to an ally, finishing a masterpiece. I don't know, maybe defensive, offensive too. And obviously they could go crazy on the passives. That's the main point that like is separating a lot of units at the moment. So I'm just hoping that we get more information. But he does seem to be, I would have to guess, both offensive and defensive because you got the speed buff, but we're gonna have to see. Now, getting all allies speed buff on a skill 1 could be pretty interesting. But we need more immediate buffs. We need really the meta to start for me, to start speeding up, okay? So I feel like I started talking a bit too much about Rill. Now, Noel, we do have more information, okay? So we could talk about her a bit more. Remember, blue healer. So she has to contend and kind of beat Charmy, which at this point is not that hard, but we'll see. So very interesting how she, a barrier unit, is having barrier immunity on an enemy for probably 1 turn. And then gives an SP buff to the ally with the highest all attack. So for blue, I'd say this is... Do we need SP buffs on blue? That, like, realistically speaking, I feel like blue is just beyond saving because their DPS just isn't there. Where red has Asta, green has Mario, plus also a good Fauna or Licht. Blue, like Julius, is good. I think it's the supports. Honestly, I think the supports are the ones that are lacking for this now. I really do think so. Now, the SP buff is pretty good. Now, the skill 2 is an all allies buff. Removing DLT from all allies. Hopefully 3 instances of DLT. That would be crazy. Remove status ailment to a designated ally. So only 1 ally and something else. Because obviously they want to add something else. But they don't want to talk about it. Right? They don't want to talk about it. Now, it's kind of funny that Mimosa came out and she had it on her ult. And that's all it did. But this already is doing more. And you get to choose who to remove it on a skill 2. Which is pretty good. Now, this is a... AoE buff, okay, so heals everyone based of her own max HP. So I'd rather max HP buffers than magic attack buffers, if we're being real. Now, removes debuffs from all allies. So it's a cleansing ult, which, if we're being real, I think this is what we needed. It would have been even crazier if Party William, the Season 9 William, was a quick unit so that you could pair up debuff immunity turn 1 with William on his ult, with the damage reduction, with Noel cleansing later on. I think that could be very cool. Now, it also does give damage res, so this is going to be a very good ultimate if you're really considering it. You get the heal, no more debuffs, and then you also get extra tankiness. So Noel, I think, is going to be pretty good. I'm going to guess this is going to be a heal. So if she has a double heal, that would be good. Now, the problem with healing is that you're able to do little shenanigans with, for example, Black Asta, where he could basically block HP recovery, and there's a lot of more units that do that, and also reduce the amount of HP healed. So just kind of consider stuff like that. Where would I want them to go with these 2 units? I think that's the main thing that I need to talk about. But for blue, they would... The biggest thing they would need to do, because currently what red has is just basically nuking with immortality, so your Black Asta can never die. What does green have? Either insanely quick death through double DPS with Mario and either Licht or Fauna, or you just stall and you have enough barriers to make it happen with enough damage reduction too. So there's many different ways that green could be played. There's not many different ways that red could be played, but red is very strong. Okay, if they're really trying to bring mono blue into this, which they better because it's just, I don't know. They bring in William. I'm still mad about it. He basically needs to be everyone. He needs everyone to be blue, but it just doesn't work out for William because he's slow. So I don't know. I'm really hoping this Noel does affect it, but if not, just looking at it away from the lens of mono teams, this makes her probably good on any single team. But the thing is, honestly though, this is good. This is just good on its own. Plus the stun block. If they don't restrict her with her passives to mono blue team, that would be good. Now for Rill, we don't really know enough for me to really say much, but I would honestly like him to be an offensive and defensive support while giving speed. I just need him to be everything. I need him to be really good. It would be nice if we could run him off of the mono red team, but it's probably going to be only on mono red, so we're going to have to see. But you guys let me know. I'm just kind of a bit worried with how it's looking because she is blue. And right now, blue units are not looking the best, right? Not looking the best. But we could hope that with Zora, right, giving trap magic, and then also magic circles, right, could be pretty cool, right? Could be pretty cool. Hopefully, Zora changes the game in terms of making blue a worth it team, because you know it's not really looking too good now. Because all the blue units that you would use are not on mono blue teams. Julius wouldn't be mono blue. William wouldn't be mono blue. Noel would not be mono blue. So, you know, there's that. Those are the only 3 blue units. We're green. Who would I use? Vanessa, Rill, Charlotte, Fauna, Guldari, Barely, Licked, Mario. And then red, well, Black Asta, Fuego, Noel, Witch Queen, right? So, not even just off mono blue, but just in general, there's not many good blue units where there's a good amount of good green and red units, which is very ironic because blue used to be the one that was like reigning on top. But the problem with it now is that they didn't touch it for so long that it's just like kind of doo-doo, right? Because after Julius, we got Charlotte, then Noel. But then from there was a big gap until Luck, and then William, and both of them were kind of mid. So that's the main thing, right? That is the main thing that I think is pretty important to highlight. So with that ends the video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.